Yo guys, Ryan here, back with another Dead by Daylight video. I know it's been a minute. I'm trying to get more consistent starting with this video as I've been streaming a lot more consistently, trying to get to the next step in the streaming career. And so I decided to try to hopefully get back with the YouTube videos as well, because I have a lot of video ideas. And so starting with this one, which is a killer tier list, but it's a versus killer tier list. Which killers are the most fun to verse? And so we actually should probably rename these. So we got S tier, which would be the most fun, which would be like this killer. This list is this tier is the killers who no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what the map, they are the absolute most fun. I don't care what, right? A tier, let's do mostly fun. B will be like kind of fun. C is no feelings. That would be like the like I don't care, but I also don't hate it. And then D would be the absolute worst. Makes me want to DC. I cannot spell. Not DC. Want to DC. There we go. So these are the tiers we have, and we have all the killers leading up to the latest one, which is Vecna 2 or Henry Creel. And so yeah, let's just start off with the OG, Mr. Trapper Man. Trapper, I'd say, is kind of killer. I don't hate going against Trapper, but I also don't love going against Trapper. He can spike either into the makes me want a DC category if they're playing in like the basement Trapper, iridescent stone, or like the purple atom, where like if you get stuck in a trap, you have to have help, and if you do get out, you get downed. So Trapper can become one of the extremes of unfun, but I don't run into many Trappers like that. Most just play the game. Yes, some do go for basement, but they don't use these add-ons, which make it unfun. So I would say Trapper, no feelings. He's there. He could be fun too. Wraith. Now I'm gonna be real. Wraith is very like he's weak, right? But he's also unfun because of just the nature of stealth killers in solo queue, where you have to be aware, you have to be constantly looking around you. If you're caught with your pants down, that's a free injure, even a free down, because you can't stay injured against him. Silent Bell Wraith is also one of those extremes where he can be unfun, but I think Wraith is also in that category as well, because again, also don't go against many iridescent Wraith players, and also just don't see many Wraiths in general nowadays. So I would say Wraith is also in that category. I would say Trapper is more fun than him. I'll try to also order it too. Let's see if we can go the extra mile and try to order it as well. Billy's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. He's also kind of in this no feelings tier, but I would say he's definitely more fun than these two. I really don't dislike going against Billy, but I also wouldn't say he's like the most fun. So like, I would say Billy is in the kind of fun tier. He's more fun to verse than to not, to hate. I would say obviously can be unfun if they just have to just face camp and there's like nothing you can do unless you're in like a 4-man Swift with comms, right? Most of his add-ons I would say are fine. They don't really drastically change how fun he is to verse. His fun to verse kind of just depends on how the Billy player himself is playing, or how skilled they are. So I would say Billy's kind of fun. Okay, here we go. First, like S tier killer, I would say. I mean, Billy's probably I would say is like S tier, like SA tier, but it's not a killer tier list. It's a for fun verse tier list. Nurse is drastically dependent on how the player is. If the player is an exceptional nurse who knows what they're doing and they can just, two-tap you, it is obviously not fun. Now, if they're a mediocre nurse, it is kind of fun. So because of that, I can't put her in like the makes me want to DC. I can't put her in like the most fun. So the only logical place I can put her would be in the kind of fun, because it is very fun trying to out predict the nurse and go around loops, because you have to loop nurse in a different way than you would loop a trapper, right? Because nurse breaks the game's rules, so you have to play against her in a different way, and it is fun. Her counterplay kind of reminds me of Vecna, where you kind of have to like out predict each other. Vecna too. So I would honestly say Nurse is kind of fun. Would I say that she's more fun than Billy? No, because I would say a good Nurse is miserable to go against versus a good Billy is still kind of fun to go against. So I would say just for that, she has to go below Billy. Michael, since I'm pretty sure this tier list was, well, actually, since it's made after Vecna, it probably does supposed to talk about new Myers. And if this was old Myers, I would say Myers is mostly fun, probably even most fun to go against. I actually liked going against Myers back then in his old iteration, even though he was weak. New Myers is absolutely miserable to verse. Him having infinite stalk, him having an insane lunge, it's just not fun to go against, especially because now he can also go to stealth at will, so that means you still technically have to constantly be looking around you. So even if he goes into tier 3, I think he can go into stealth mode, get close enough, pop back to tier 3 mode, and then just like catch off guard. And even if you get to a loop again, he just has an insane lunge and just makes it not fun to go against. So unfortunately, Myers, I think, is the first one, and makes me want to DC tier. He's just not fun to go against nowadays. And even if the player does bring the old Myers add-ons, it's just not the same. Unfortunately, Myers would only be fun if you were to. I think he still has like the scratch mirror add-on, but why would you even run that, right? So yeah, Myers makes me want DC. I have no fun whenever I'm going against a new Myers, unfortunately. Hagatha, the Hag. Let's see. I think Hag is no feelings. I don't hate going against Hag. I don't love going against Hag. She also, again, just like Trapper, can be in that super unfun category. Like I was recently on stream, I think it was. I was going against a Hag, and it was just a miserable game. Like we got like 4K at 4 gens. I think they're running Rusty Shackles, and it was just like a really bad game. But like, was I having a miserable time? Not really. So I think she goes in the no feelings category. I would say these two. I would definitely say Wraith is more annoying than Hag. And then her and Trapper are about the same. So I would say, yeah, I'd probably put, actually, so we swap this. Well, actually, because the top of the list would basically be like, yeah, so yeah, Wraith will be down here, yeah. So these two I really don't care facing. Wraith I actually do, and he's a lot more unfun, but it's not the worst. Okay, next up, Doctor. First anti-loop killer here. Yeah, so Doctor is okay. He's very annoying because you have to play him in a different way, because if they're just like constantly shocking, like he kind of like the Doctor counterplay is kind of weird. He can always know where you are with his big static blast. The reverse skill checks are annoying, and then if he has like a full skill check build, yeah, that's very miserable to go against. But at the end of the day, I would also just say Doctor is in that no feelings category. Yeah, I don't love. Yeah, nothing really. I would say, who's more annoying to go against, Doctor or Wraith? I would honestly say Wraith. I would much rather go against a Doctor than a Wraith. Okay, next up, Huntress. Huntress is mostly fun. I don't mind going against Huntresses. Obviously, again, like with every killer, they have like that one build where it can be very annoying. If you have a Huntress using Air Ahead with the Wooden Fox makes you undetectable. So you have a Huntress who just goes around the map completely silent with a one shot. Yeah, it's annoying. Or if you have a huntress who just straight up camps a hook with her one shot iridescent head, yeah, that's annoying. Um, like especially back then when map offerings would work, so you would have a huntress who would go to midwich undetectable on that small condensed map with a one shot. Yeah, no, it was actually miserable. Um, but I would say don't really come across huntresses that use iridescent head that much anymore, and if they do, it's not using you playing in a bad not a bad way, in a unfun way. So, and then if you're going against a regular huntress, it's actually not bad. It's actually pretty fun playing the 50-50 Zap pallets. Or am I going to drop it or am I going to run through, right? And the dodging hatches. Obviously, they could just zone. And I mean, obviously, zoning is never fun, but I mean, it is what it is. So I would say Huntress is pretty much always fun to go against, mostly. Just again, with those rare exceptions. Bubba, the cannibal. I would also I low key want to put him in the most fun because it is actually very fun to loop a Bubba. Um, but we're gonna have a couple killers in the most fun, and I kind of I want to reserve that the top list. But Bubba, I would say, is more fun than Huntress for sure. Obviously, can be unfun if you have a Bubba who just face camps first hook, right? And so you're just on Gen Simulator, or does basement first hook and it's just Zen Simulator. But if you have a Bubba who's actually playing, it's fun, it's exhilarating, it really gets your heart pumping, trying to get that pallet stun out of loop, just barely making the edge if he knows how to use his chainsaw correctly. And even like going into like the lockers to dodge the chainsaw and actually getting it right and knowing the timing, it feels so good and it's so rewarding. So I would say Bubba is really fun to go against. Freddy, Freddy's just boring. Like again, he's like the epitome of no feelings. I don't care. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just whatever, right? I feel like they made him better with that rework that they gave him, but they also kind of just didn't do much to make him more fun to play as and fun to play against. So he's just like a worse clown, I guess you could say, with his snares. And the dream palettes are cool, but So I would say Freddy is just in the no feelings. I would say probably top. Like I would much rather face a Freddy than probably like this. Rather face a Trapper than a Freddy. Than rather face a Freddy than a Hack. Yeah. Pig, most fun. I love Pig. Love playing as her. Love playing against her. She's not like a ridiculously strong killer. She's pretty weak, but I love I don't know. I just love playing against Pig. Obviously, there is a very specific scenario where it is unfun, and it's if they put a trap on your head and they still decide to go after you. I'll never understand why pigs do that. You might as well not even put the trap on if you're just gonna tunnel someone out anyways. Because then you're just wasting your trap. You're missing out on the value of that trap, of the slowdown that it's gonna bring. Because that person's not gonna be on a gen. They can't heal because they have to worry about getting their trap off. So it's like, go for the value. But I digress. Just a basic looping gameplay against a pig. That's fun. It's fine. It's pretty easy to counter her ambush. Just got to be patient because pigs are getting smarter, and now they'll do like a fake around the loop. She doesn't have any add-ons that make her unfun to go against. The area add-on, I forget what it's called, but the area add-on that makes the trap spawn on your head, it's strong, but it's not unfun, I would say. It requires the survivors to play in a different way rather than just let me just hop on a gen and just smash it, right? So yeah, I would say Pig is one of the most fun killers in the game for me to go against. Clown makes me want to DC. Next one in that tier. I hate Clown. His counterplay is just so stupid and so boring. You just gotta camp a pallet, and because if you try to loop a Clown normally, he's just gonna throw a haste at his feet, throw a hinder at you, and then get the hits. You leave the loop and then rinse and repeat. So, and then most clowns nowadays just use haste. It's like a haste clown build. It's just unfun. There's like nothing enjoyable about a clown. You just gotta like slam gens, and you can't even hold W either because he's just gonna outspeed you or just hinder you to death. So yeah, just nothing enjoyable about Clown. Yeah, I would. Actually, this is tough. Which one do I hate more going against? They're both really bad. We'll order this more as we add more to it because there's gonna be more. Spirits, I would say, is one of the most fun. Low key, I like the counterplay on Spirit, having to walk and manipulate like your breathing sounds to play against her. Because like there's some text you can do against Spirit, like if she's phasing and you're like near a pallet, near a window, what you can do is you can drop the item you're holding, and it'll make the same sound as if you were vaulting a window or a pallet. And that those little nicks and crannies is actually very fun to verse against Spirit. So I personally like going against Spirit. I know others might not, but she's one of the most fun killers for me to verse personally. Which is ironic. We had like three of like the strongest killers right here, and they're in like the kind of fun to verse category, which you would think is the opposite. Legion. There's nothing special about Legion. I mean, the free hit, their first hit's pretty much free on Legion, and then after that, you just loop them pretty much like a pig without the anti-loot from pig. And so most Legions just run like the iridescent add-on to just break the path after the vault. That's kind of boring to go against because you just you loop them like normal, you drop the path, they just vault over, then cancel power. But mostly Legion's fine. I don't hate going against Legion. I don't love him. So I would say probably top of no feelings. Plague. Plague is kind of fun, although Plague is kind of like in the same as Legion, where it's like you're going to be injured for most of the game. And so the counterplay is pretty much just like don't cleanse. And so you're pretty much going to be injured the entire game. When she gets her power, it is kind of oppressive because it's like a beam, kind of. Not really a beam, but like it's like a long duration. So it's like dodging it is kind of hard unless you have like line of sight blockers. But Plague is fine. I would probably say like I don't love it, but I don't hate it. But I also wouldn't put her in the no feeling. So I'd probably put her like bottom of kind of fun. I think that's a fair place to put her. Yeah, Ghostface. So as I was talking about the stealth killer with Myers and Wraith earlier, Ghostface is pretty much like a weaker Wraith, right? Because Wraith can't insta down, but he has insane mobility and actual like solid anti-loop. And Ghostface, while undetectable for a majority of the game, he's pretty much just fine. He's kind of just there. He doesn't have any add-ons that make him unfun to verse against. Like, I would say the unfun from Ghostface just comes from solo queue. I guess you could say, right? Just having to constantly look around. And obviously not being able to... Well, I guess even if you heal, then he can still mark you. But... So, I would say Ghostface is probably like... It is unfun to always... Like, every time you're downed... Like, you get, like, 3 chances, right? Down once, you hook. Down 2, hooked again. Then down 3, you die. So, it's like... it is unfun that every time you're downed, it's an insta down. So, that's kind of like with Myers. So, I would probably put him... But because he's less oppressive than Myers, because of the no lunge, he doesn't have the same ability and map control as Wraith, and also lunge, I would probably just put him, like, top of no feelings, honestly. Like... over probably like here or here. Swap him and Hag. Oh, not there. Messed it up. Yeah, probably here. Demogorgon makes me want to DC. Absolutely hate this killer. Just all Demogorgon is just hard zonies, so you either dodge and get zoned and he just M1s you, or you just take a hit anyways. I don't know if the crouch tech still works on Demogorgon. And it's just pretty much like it's pretty much like a way less fun up version of Bubba, right? Like Demogorgon and Bubba, like two of like some of the best pallet breakers in the game. They just eat pallets, but Demogorgon is way less fun, and it's just miserable like that. And it's literally just the shred. The shred is the only thing about Demogorgon that makes them annoying to verse for me, because all they do is just zone. The charge up time is like practically instant, so even if you try to dodge, he can just still hit you, and if he doesn't launch the shred, he can just zone you. It's so annoying. I hate Demogorgon. Definitely. No, do I hate him more than... I would probably put him here. Probably here. Yeah, I'd do that. I think he is top of makes me want to DC so far. Oni? Oni's kind of fun. He's kind of the same boat as Plague, where it's like, once he's in power, it can be oppressive, especially if they can like hit their flicks and stuff. And if they're constantly getting power throughout the entire game. So basically you have every chase is in his power, and he's just going from like hook to slug, and you're just constantly snowballing. But for the most part, I'd say Oni's kind of fun. It is kind of exhilarating being chased by an Oni in his power. And not really any unfun add-ons either. So I would not really much to say about Oni. I would probably put him, yeah, probably here. Yeah, that's the first spot. Next up, the Deathslinger makes me want to DC as well. I hate this killer so much. Same reasons pretty much as Demogorgon. They just zone. I obviously can hit over loops and then just drag you around. And also, if I wanted to, I should have said this at the beginning. These makes me want to DC. Like, these two specifically are like just straight up just skill issues. Like I said, Demogorgon probably is a fun killer to verse with someone. Deathslinger, oh, just dodge, right? But no, I cannot stand Deathslinger. Anytime I load in and hear his terror radius, I'm just like, hell no, I'm miserable. I'm just gonna sit on gens the entire game. Right? Yeah, I can't stand him. He does have the iridescent add-on that's kind of annoying, where if he hits you from a certain range with a spear, he can then one-shot you, but I don't really see Deathslingers run that anyways. But yeah, Deathslinger just makes me want to sit on gens the entire game and get out as soon as possible. Pyramid Head, P-Head 1. Kind of tough, because kind of just like Demogorgon and Deathslinger, also can be unfun if they just zone with their power. His power does have insane range. He can pretty easily tunnel someone out, but even with all that, I would say kind of no feelings. Like, he's just kind of whatever to verse. I really don't mind him. He'd probably go like top of no feelings, honestly. Nothing really to say about Pyramid Head. Blight, again, probably another hot take. Blight is mostly fun to go against. Like, okay, not mostly. I'd probably say top of kind of fun, because I've been going against a lot of Blights in the past week, and most just like, 4K at 4 gens. But when you don't go against, it's the same logic as Nurse. When you don't go against a super meta comp Blight, it is fun. It's exhilarating to be chased by a Blight and like dodge his lethal rush, and make him break a pallet instead of hitting you, or like, because you also kind of have to loot Blight in a different way compared to other killers, and it is fun. Like, most of the time, if they're not just 4King at 5, right? It's crazy. Like, these top tier killers are like actually fun to verse, at least to me. Twins, I mean, is that crazy? Is it a hot take to say that Twins is? Honestly, I would much rather go against Twins than Myers or Clown. Honestly, it's just not fun with the slugging. I faced actually a couple Twins in the past week, and Yeah, they just pretty much slug. There was one that didn't slug that we did escape, and I mean, of course, right? Because twins kind of have to slug. Um, and I just think this killer is just in forever purgatory of just like will never be really fun to verse. Unfortunately, um, yeah, the counterplay is pretty much just like you have to like duo up, and I mean, no one does that in solo queue. They like I said, they slug a lot. And like it wouldn't be as bad if Victor couldn't down you, but if Victor couldn't down you, then they would just be turned into what like a legion, right? A ghoul. But yeah, just getting like M1'd by Charlotte and then just Victor chasing you down, which is already hard to dodge. And then you just get slugged or then just picked up with like a killer with that you can't really do anything about. It's just unfun. Trickster. See, if you asked me like a year ago, I would have said makes me want a DC. But now I'm kind of in the no feelings category. Like if I load in and see a Trickster, see a Mina, my girl, I'm just like, right, whatever. I don't really care. I would definitely say, oh god, my mouse. I would definitely say I'd much rather go against a Trickster than these. Yeah. Nemesis is kind of fun, honestly. I would probably put him, probably here. I like Nemesis. The only thing annoying about Nemesis is the zombies. Like it's basically just free ruin. And if you don't have a flashlight, you're not willing to sacrifice a pallet. Yeah, it's just annoying having to get off a gen. But the basic Nemesis gameplay loop, I like to go against. It's pretty fun. Having to try to preemptively dodge the whip, pre-dropping to start the chase if he's tier 1. And then when he's tier 2 and 3, you gotta like, again, 50-50. Am I gonna dodge? Am I not? So Nemesis is fun. Pinhead. Okay, so Pinhead is one of those two extremes. He's either fun to go against or he's miserable to go against. And I have a perfect example because the other day I was on stream and I went against the Pinhead and they were doing a box build and that was miserable. I'm talking like every chance he got, he was doing the box and we just could not get any progress done. And it's just bad. That's the extreme of Pinhead where he's miserable to go against. It makes me want to DC. If it's just normal Pinhead, I think he's fun. So because of those extremes, I would put him in this category. I would honestly put him in the kind of fun above. Honestly, I might switch this. I might do that. Yeah, we'll do that. And next up, Artist Bird Mommy. I would say Artist because of the nature of her gameplay loop being Doctor, which is anti-loop, and you pretty much just have to like leave the loop if she puts up her crow. It is kind of unfun to go against that, but at the same time, it's not miserable. It doesn't make me want to DC when I load it and I hear the caw, right? So I would probably put her like top of no feelings. Yeah, I'd much rather go against the Artist than a Pyramid Head. Yeah. Sadako the Onryo, I would say one of the most fun kills. The first, honestly, in my opinion, I don't struggle with the tapes. So obviously in solo queue, my teammates are be getting condemned freaking a lot constantly. But me, since I don't struggle against her, it's pretty much just managing the tapes, watching for her to go invis and stuff like that around loops, and you just loop her like a pig basically. She's fine. I kind of like going against Sadako. And she doesn't really have any add-ons that make her unfun to go against either. So her fun pretty much just depends on her teammates. I guess you could say. Dredge. Dredge is, I would say, no feelings. Probably in the middle. Because he's also just anti-loop. He puts up his remnant at a loop and you just kind of have to go away from the loop. My fall is an interesting mechanic. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's kind of annoying, but It's cool at the end of the day. And the locker mechanic, I mean, barely interact with it. You barely get caught in the lockers. It is pretty exhilarating to hear him teleport to a locker near you. So I mean, I would say Dredge, no feelings. I load in, I see Dredge, I see the lockers on the lock. I'm like, okay, it's a Dredge. Wesker, I would say goes in the mostly fun. I have pretty much no bad experiences with Weskers unless I just personally play bad. But it's kind of in the same category as Blight, where it's like, yeah, it's exhilarating to be chased by a Blight. Like same with a Bubba. Wesker probably would go down a tier if it was like a couple years ago before they nerfed him with like the hinder and the infection not going away on hook. Before those nerfs, I'd probably put him in like the no feelings. But ever since his nerfs, he's fine. He's fun. I like going against Wesker. Knight makes me want DC. I absolutely hate this killer. Probably here. Yeah, well, no, he's at the top. What am I talking about tonight? Before his changes and rework, it was still this tier. After his changes and rework, still in this tier. Cannot stand this killer. I don't know why we buffed AI to make it harder to get away from the AI. I like what they did with the trade-off of if a knight is going to send his guard after you and chase you, the guard goes way faster. That is nice. But it's just a bad experience. And now that he can control the guards, you just try to pre-drop out a loop or whatever. He's then just gonna use the Executioner, I think, the big one, to just instantly break the pallet, basically like a free dissolution, and just catch up instantly. It's just not fun. Whenever it's a knight, it's not fun. That's why I always enjoy dunking on knights when I go against them. Skull Merchant. Again, if I made this list like a couple years ago during the 3-gen meta, easily makes me want to DC. Even though I love her character, it was miserable to go against a Skull Merchant because you already knew what they were gonna do. It's just like back then before the anti face camp changes. When you went against a Bubba, you already knew they were just gonna face camp. Just like with the 3-gen meta, you went against a Skull Merchant, you knew they were just gonna camp their 3-gen. Nowadays, they don't do that as much. And she got gutted, and then she got some compensation buffs, so now she's like okay. Never run into her, but I would probably say like no feelings. Not really fun to go against, but not like terrible anymore. Nothing really much to say. Singularity. He's kind of unfun. I'm not gonna lie. They just kind of just set up their pods and then just camp an area. If they slipstream you and then they chase you, you kind of just have to like pre-drop because you can just Spirit Fury and then just break the pallet instantly. Faster vaults, like it's pretty much like that part of the Singularity gameplay loop that's like unfun to me. So honestly, it's like low, like he's barely edging the no feelings tier, but I would say he's in the makes me want a DC category. Xenomorph were like really bad, actually really bad. I hate Xenomorph. You would think he would be kind of like Nemesis because their tail attacks are so similar, but it's bad, dude. Like it's the tail. Like Xenomorph is one of those extremes where it's not about add-ons, it's about the gameplay loop. If you have a good team and y'all set up turrets constantly around the area, so Xenomorph is pretty much like never in crawler mode, it's fine. It's actually fun to verse Xenomorph. But if you don't set up the counterplay, if you don't have turrets up and they're constantly in crawler mode, it's miserable. So I probably should just put him like bottom of no feelings, but no one uses the turrets, which means he's going to be in crawler mode 99% of the time. It's just not fun at all. Chucky, most fun. I love versing a Chucky. It's pretty much the same thing I've said about Cannibal. It's exhilarating to chase a Chucky. It's different too because y'all are basically on the even playing field with the third person. I like going against Chucky. It's fun. And as a Chucky player as well, who hasn't pushed Season 100, who knows like what works and what doesn't, it's fun to know like, oh, I'm a Chucky player too, so I'm gonna do this and do this. So I love versing Chucky. Honestly, probably like, yeah, I should swap that. Unknown, I would say, is mostly fun. Unknown, I got no real issues with Unknown. I feel like he's probably gonna get bumped down a tier with his upcoming buffs, but I would say Unknown is pretty much always fun to verse. I love the 50-50 counterplay with him, like because Unknowns have like a tight window of getting that down, the injure or down with his UVX, I think that's what it's called, if he infects you, and you kind of have to like predict what he's gonna do. Is he gonna shoot ahead? Is he gonna shoot behind? Because he's gonna anticipate me going, double backing. It's kind of fun. I like it. Again, no like add-ons that make him unfun either. It's just straight up gameplay. Vecna 1, the Lich. I would say also mostly fun. I'm going against a lot of Vecnas lately. I don't know why. I don't know if someone made a YouTube video or something like that, but I've been going against a lot of Vecnas, and it's pretty much always fun. I would say, yeah, I'd probably swap that. Yeah, and I'd probably put Unknown over Wesker. Yeah, I got no real problems with Vecna. I love his counterplay, which is the magical items, but it's not necessary to counter him either. And countering the Mage Hand, the Flight of the Damned, it's all fun, and it keeps you on your toes. So I like going against Vecna 1. Dracula, I can't stand Dracula. I'm sorry. Yeah. Also, I realized that. Okay. Well, I think I gotta reorder this because I think Demogorgon, one of the most fun killers. Yeah, because if they're at like the top here, that means like they're like the most unfun. So yeah, no, this is fine. Yeah, yeah. Dracula, Wolf mode is pretty much Wesker. Wesker bounces. Right. And then his Hellfire. That's what really makes him fun to me. No, I can't stand getting hit over obstacles that don't look like I can be hit over with Dracula. Goddamn, I got the hiccups. I'm sorry. Gotta try to wrap this up. He's just unfun to go against. Oh god, I just can't stand it. Houndmaster, pretty much the epitome of no feelings. I'd probably put her like here. I don't go against Houndmasters that often, and when I do, it's kind of just like a whatever, right? Dog is fun. I like the counterplay with using the pallet or using an ally to help you. Yeah, I don't think she's like too strong or anything either. I like the Wesker is like bounce that she has, like where she sends the dog out and she can like redirect it, but it's only once, and it's pretty easy to counter. So yeah, she's fun. Ghoul, I would honestly say the most fun. Again, it's in that same category as Blight, Wesker, Chucky, where it's like it's exhilarating, but it's also kind of like a Legion, where it's like, yeah, that first hit is guaranteed, and then after that you just kind of just loop them like normal. But then there's like some nuance too, with like, are they gonna grab you over the pallet to try to catch up, and then you can just vault right back into them? Are they gonna try to cut you off, kind of like a raid, but you can counter that too by body blocking them or like even stunning them with the pallet? So with Ghoul, it's a lie, and it's actually really fun. I like going against Ghouls. Probably put her honestly. We'll think about that later. I'll read just that one later. Springtrap. Probably like here, honestly. I love going against Springtraps. Bias, I'm a Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I have a P100 Springtrap, but it's pretty much like the same as like a Huntress, where it's like you're playing that 50-50, pretty much at all loops. And yeah, I mean, pretty much everything I said about Huntress, minus like the unfun add-ons that they can do, because Springtrap has like, he has fun add-ons, like I think it's the party badge or loot box add-on where like if he sticks you with the hatchet, then you and him get like haste. That's fun. Yeah, Springtrap I like going against. I don't know how to say the name. Apparently it's Karasu. I've been saying Krasue. I don't know how to say it properly, so forgive me. I would say that I've been going against a couple lately, and I've been doing really bad. But for the most part, I would say she's kind of fun. Um, I just need to get better at her counterplay. Where do I put her though? Probably here. Yeah. I just got to get better at the counterplay, but I would say she's mostly fun for the most part, dodging the little like infection and then looping ahead, who kind of has like flicks. It's interesting. It's not like miserable either. I do think it is kind of annoying how long it takes to get rid of the infection after you eat the mushroom, but yeah, she's fine for the most part. And then lastly, the latest killer before the anniversary, Mr. Vecna 2 or Henry Creel. Vecna is in the same category as Nurse and Blight, where if they're a super top tier Vecna who's landing every single shot and you're spending half the game, and I didn't have majority of the game in the upside down, it's unfun, right? But if they are like okay-ish at the killer, and you're kind of mind gaming each other, it is very fun to go against. So because of that same logic, we'll probably put him next to Nurse. I would say he's more fun. Well, I would say no, because the upside down mode is kind of annoying, and it takes a long time to get rid of it. So I'd probably put him just below Nurse. And with that, do I want to reorder anything? Chucky's the most fun killer for me to verse. Yeah. Might be or replace Vecna with Spirit. Probably Unknown with Spirit too. Yeah. Because half the time I verse Spirit, I don't even have headphones on. Nemesis is fun. I honestly might bump Nemesis up to the mostly fun. Yeah, I think I will. I'll probably put him. Yeah. Pinhead. It's mostly just the add-ons that keep him from going up higher. Blight, yeah. And so, yeah, that's my list. What do you guys think? Do I have any spicy hot takes? Who is the most fun and most unfun killer for you to go against? Let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys at the next video.